I was recently hit by a scam which could have cost us tens of thousands of pounds related to buying a new house. So this conveyancing scam is known as Friday afternoon fraud, and I like to think of myself as someone that wouldn't get easily scammed, but actually they knew quite a lot of personal and private information about us which would have made it easy to fall for, and also they tried to scam our buyer as well. So today I want to talk about this scam. I want to talk about what happened to us and just share a little bit of information to hopefully prevent other people getting hit by the same scam. Hi, my name's Corinne. I'm a full-time blogger and content creator from York. I've just started this new YouTube channel to document our journey of moving house. When I eventually do end up moving house, I'll be sharing everything that we do to the house to renovate, decorate and make the house our home. I'm sure this goes without saying, but I really hate scammers, and I know everybody hates scammers, but I like to think of myself as someone that is quite knowledgeable about the scams that are out there, the red flags to look out for. I'm very cynical when it comes to things around money, making money, sending money and things like that. I like to think it's something that wouldn't happen to me and I wouldn't get easily caught out like that. But the thing is that these scammers are getting cleverer and cleverer, and the lengths that they go to are pretty crazy. And obviously, as they're getting discovered and people become aware of their tactics, they switch and start doing something else, which is even scarier. So I wanted to get this video up pretty quickly just to raise a bit of awareness, because not many people know about this scam. Everybody I've spoken to about this, they had no idea that this was a thing. I have Googled it and I've come across articles that explain it, but like the estate agents and the solicitors, they had never heard of it before and never come across it. But it is something that is on the rise. So hopefully this can prevent some people from losing some money, and hopefully just raise a bit of awareness so you know what to look out for so you don't get scammed in the future. So it started with us last week when we got a message from our estate agent saying that our buyer had been told by a solicitor that we were completing on a certain date and that she was to transfer a deposit over. So initially we were really frustrated because we thought that she'd been told the wrong information. So we knew that we were nowhere near completing and we'd not discussed any dates, so we knew that it was wrong, but we thought it was the solicitor that had told us something that wasn't accurate. So we were frustrated because we know that our buyer wants to complete as soon as possible, and then to have to go back and say, actually, we're not completing, like that must be like really upsetting and devastating for her. So the next day the estate agents contacted us again to tell us that the buyer had actually been hacked and somebody was impersonating her solicitor and then told her to transfer the money over. So thankfully she did not transfer the money over. I don't really know the details of like when she flagged it was a scam or who flagged it was a scam, or if she knew straight away, or you know, if she thought we were actually completing, because obviously I don't have access to her. I'm just like going from secondhand information, but she was happy that she wasn't scammed, and then that was that. So then I started looking into this scam a little bit more, because first of all what I wanted to do was check that I was secure. So I went onto my email security system, I checked what there was, like no extra logins that I wasn't aware of. So I changed my password, then I also put the two-factor login thing on. So at the time I had the one where if you log in from a new device you have to do the two-factor, but then I changed it to the one where when you log in from any device you have to do the two-factor. So every time I log in now I have to like also prove like my identity in a second way. So as I said, I looked into this scam and this is what I found out. So this scam is called Friday afternoon fraud, and it's called that because it generally happens on a Friday, and that is because you can transfer money, people are winding down, and then it can be hard to trace that money over the weekend because you may transfer the money and not actually find out until the Monday that it's not gone to the right person. And then by that time this money's been transferred through multiple accounts and possibly out of the country and it's gone forever. They generally target estate agents, homeowners and solicitors, but they can also target businesses that are about to make big transactions. So this can happen any day of the week, but it's just called Friday afternoon fraud because it tends to happen mostly on a Friday. So what they do is they hack into your emails, then they monitor your emails for a period of time. Then they wait for an opportune moment and then they will impersonate someone to try and get you to send them the money. So in our case, they were impersonating the solicitors, and because they've had access to your emails, they know what your solicitor's called, they know the firm they're from, they know like, you know, they've got access to the documents that you've been sent, so they know how much you need to send. So they know all these details about you, so they can craft a fairly convincing email to try and get you to send them the money. So obviously in our case, they knew that our buyer wanted to complete by the end of the month and things were getting a little bit desperate. So they took that moment to be like, we can complete by the end of the month, but you need to send us the money today. And with scammers, it's always the same, isn't it? It's always like you need to do it immediately because then you don't have time to think. So you just do it out of panic and out of desperation because you really want to move house, and then the money's gone. But thankfully, our buyer didn't do that. And like I said, I don't know the reasoning behind that. I don't know if she clocked it or, you know, if she just wanted to check, or I don't know the details behind that. So obviously then if you do send the money to them, then you've lost it. And this can have a devastating impact on you, and not only you, it also affects the rest of the people in the chain, because if you get scammed out of your deposit, you can't buy the house, and then if your seller is relying on the sale of their house, they can't buy the following house. So it affects everybody else. But obviously the person getting scammed is the one that loses out the most, because they lose all their money. So if you think you've become a victim of this fraud and you've lost your money, you need to contact your bank immediately. So in some cases you can claim some of your money back, but if the money gets sent abroad, that can become more difficult. So the best thing to do is speak to your bank as soon as possible and give them all of the details that you can. So what happened to me is the following day I got an email from my solicitor saying, please can you send over your deposit today and confirm the amount. So obviously, because of what had happened with our buyer 2 days previously, I knew straight away it was a scam, and I don't think I would have fell for it, because on the email that she sent, the email signature was different and it didn't have like all that the legal confidential jargon it does on the bottom, but it was her name. It looked like it was from her email account, but when I looked into it a little bit more, there was just one letter missing from the email account, so they tried to impersonate it as much as they possibly could. So in this email they knew the name of our solicitor, they knew the amount that we was putting down as our deposit, and they also knew the subject title that we use, and this was our customer reference number, the name of our seller and the address of our new property. So they knew all this information, which makes it look like it's legit, and I can see why some people may fall for that. So I don't think I would have fell for it, just because the email signature was different, and also I knew that we weren't in a position to start transferring money yet. So when you buy a new house, you need to exchange contracts first, then you generally transfer the money a few days before completion, and we weren't anywhere near that stage yet. So what I did immediately is I called the office of my solicitors and I told them that I think I've got an email that is a scam asking me to transfer money pretending to be my solicitor. Then they put me through to the solicitor. I told her what had happened. She logged out of her email straight away and she asked me to text her a screenshot of the email and of the email address, and then she then took that up with her security team at the firm. Then she called back a little bit later and she said that there was no sign of a data breach. They'd done a complete scan. The security team was happy that there was nothing from her end, and I don't believe there was anything from my end either, because obviously I'd explained that I'd already checked my security settings and everything seemed fine, and I'd changed my password and I had the two-factor thing on, so they were pretty happy that there wasn't a security risk. The IT team said that it was to do with our buyer being hacked, and they was able to somehow access the information through email threads that our solicitor sent the other solicitor. I mean, I don't really understand how that all works, but that's what the security team have said, so, you know, what else am I supposed to do? And I also reported it to Action Fraud, so if they believe that it's a part of a bigger thing and it needs to be investigated even further, then they will do that. Yeah, so that was another dramatic saga in this whole buying and selling process. I just can't believe these things keep happening. It's like not been an easy process. And you know what? I'm usually just like a very average person. I don't have a dramatic life. I've not had a load of like bad things happen to me. Everything just seems to like, you know, go along at a normal average pace. So this process has been a lot of emotional ups and a lot of emotional downs, and there's so many things that have happened. I will share the rest at a later date. I just wanted to get this out there now because I think it's important to share to try and prevent other people getting scammed.